everyone, this is Alexa from InnoGames, and you are watching the April edition of InnoGames TV. As you can see, I'm standing here in our brand new reception area in our brand new office, and I look forward to showing you much more of it to come. But first, let's get to the news. Forge of Empires and the Guild vs. Guild feature. Our game designer Anvar shows you more detailed tactics and strategies of the new feature. Easter is coming to Grepolis, and very soon, players will be able to participate. We'll show you what you can expect. We'll give you insight into the multiplayer combat feature of Tribal Wars 2. Stay tuned and learn how to defeat your enemies. I sat down with Jonas from the West team to talk about the new Game Master Fort in the upcoming Speed Worlds. And Tribal Wars presents some features of the recent update. Last but not least, I'm going to show you around in our new building.
Hi, I'm Anwar. I'm the lead game designer for Forge of Empires, and today I would like to talk about a few advanced features for Guild vs. Guild. So first of all, I would like to talk about the landing zones in Guild vs. Guild. These are the places where your guild can actually enter the province map for each province, but actually you shouldn't stay there because other guilds can also enter the province from these very points. So it's very likely that you will get attacked there if you stay there. The best strategy, in my opinion, would be to make a foothold there, then advance further into the map, and then use either the Grand Independence feature or just wait till your guild gets attacked and then just let that territory cease to be. Next, I would like to address a concern that has been raised on the forums and other community channels, and that is about the goods cost of Guild vs. Guild participation. Many players have complained that the goods costs are really excessive and that it's getting, after conquering 20 sectors, maybe 21, 22 sectors, the goods costs are getting really high. But I have to tell you that's actually designed that way because we don't want province maps to be dominated by a single guild or even two guilds or three guilds. We wanted them to be open to a lot of guilds. So when you notice that your guild is paying really a lot to conquer that 20th, 25th or 26th sector, then maybe it's time to branch out into another province map. You know, go one age lower, maybe even 2 ages lower. Sure, the rewards there are less, but when you look at the participation cost, then you will notice that suddenly you start from scratch again and it's only 5 goods for the first siege army. So that is really a worthy investment, and that can really help your guild to gain power more quickly. The next topic I would like to tackle is a bit complicated, so please bear with me. It's about the headquarter and the support pool bonus. So how do you get a support pool bonus? Well, that is from the fierce resistance bonus from all of your guild's members, that your guild's members contribute, and also from your guild level. But how is that actually distributed in the game? Well, it's quite simple if you look at it superficially. The guild support pool gets divided by the support factor for each province, and that's the number of points that are available to boost your armies on each map. So it's very important to note the support pool is available for each single province map. And then you have to realize that the support pool for each sector is calculated during the daily calculation at the end of a day. All sectors connected to your headquarter will be eligible for the support pool bonus, provided you have enough support pool in the first place. So that's it from my side. I hope the advice is useful to you, and may you find a very good application for these hints that I gave you in Guild vs. Guild.
Now let's move on to our ancient Greek strategy game, Grepolis. Easter is coming quite soon, and game designer Marcel will tell you all about it.
Hello, I'm Marcel, one of the 2 game designers of Grepolis. Last time I said that we might be talking about the tutorial overhaul. Unfortunately, there have been some delays, which is why I will be explaining the Easter event instead. This year's Easter event will be different than before. You will still feed a mythical hen, but you will collect the chicken feed by solving island quests. Once you have collected 3 chunks of chicken feed, you can give them to the hen in any combination you can think of. Depending on your chosen diet, a mysterious egg of a certain color will appear. The egg will crack open and a reward will appear for you to claim. Each type of egg has its predefined set of 5 different rewards. So as soon as you have discovered a recipe for a specific egg, you can repeatedly make the hen lay that egg to get your desired rewards. Also, whenever you have created an egg, you'll get a little closer to some very special rewards. The progress bar on the right side will let you track your progress towards those rewards. Keep in mind that there will be a recipe tab as well. Whenever you have discovered a new combination of chicken feet, it will be saved accordingly. Of course, you are also encouraged to exchange your knowledge with friends and alliance members. For the second time in Grepolis history, this event will also be available on mobile devices. The design is very close to the browser version, so you won't be confused when using the event on different devices. The event will go live in mid-April and it will be available for 2.5 weeks. We hope that you will enjoy it. Goodbye!
Switching gears from Easter, we're going to talk about Tribal Wars 2 in our next segment. Fabio Lozito brings you the multiplayer combat function.
Hey everyone, this is Fabio from InnoGames. After my colleague Tom explained the different kinds of units in our last video, today I would like to show you how to use them in our basic battle tactics video. As you might know, the most important part of Tribal Wars is to build up your village, make it stronger, and fight other players and tribes. Therefore, the barracks will be crucial to your success. Here you recruit all your standard units, and you can already see which ones you should use for defensive and for offensive purposes. Some of them, like the archer here, have been introduced last week already. When you have some units, you can start sending out attacks. Of course, you could immediately attack your neighbor, but especially in the beginning, it's important to not forget farming those barbarian villages for resources. As you can see, I have a timer displaying when my attack will arrive. But normally, the time will derive a little bit, depending on your army's discipline. Your discipline gets lower the more different unit types you have in your attacking army. You can improve your army's discipline by unlocking several training facilities in your barracks. So why are discipline and exactly timed attacks so important to your success? If you want to take over an enemy's village, you need two things: a huge army and a nobleman. Noblemen, which can be recruited in the academy, reduce a village's loyalty to their ruler. If it reaches 0, you can take it over. Therefore, conquering an enemy's village is easiest if you send waves of large offensive armies to take out defenses, alternating with attacks by an army that contains a nobleman. The more exact your waves can be timed, the slimmer the enemy's chances are to intercept and defeat an army with one of your precious and expensive noblemen. Of course, you can also set up an attack preset. You simply pick the units you want to attack with, click on Save as Preset, give your preset a name, afterwards you can also create a logo for it, and then you can reuse the preset over and over again with exactly the same units. Alright, thanks for listening, stay tuned for more information on Tribal Wars 2, and don't forget to pre-register on tribalwars2.com.
Now let's move on to my sit-down with Jonas from the West team. Hey guys, I'm back and I'm sitting here with Jonas from the West team. He just showed me the new Game Master Fort feature. Jonas, can you tell me what that's all about?
Sure. The fort battles are the unique feature in the West, and as much as our players like the fort battles, they like events that are organized by our community management team. And the GM4, the Game Master 4, is a combination of both. It's a special fort in the middle of the map that we will use to organize special fort battle events.
Cool, so what kind of fort battle events are you able to run?
Oh, we are planning to do Beat the Team events, Capture the Flag events, and many more. And we also developed an admin tool for that allows us to set some special settings on this fort. Like we have join requirements that we can set that allow us to, for example, have a fort battle event with soldiers against adventurers, or only having players in a certain level range compete against players in another level range. And yeah, it's a pretty complex tool that allows us to do a lot of fun.
I also heard you guys are working on special speed worlds, is that true?
That is true. Speed worlds are something our players have asked for a very long time. And we know it's very successful on Tribal Wars, but so far the technical difficulties made us a bit scared of implementing speed worlds on the West. But now that we don't start normal game worlds that regularly anymore, we think it's worth it to work on the concept and to implement speed worlds on the West finally.
So do you already have plans for how long these speed worlds will run?
Yes, we are aiming for 1 to 2 months, and each of the speed worlds will have one objective to reach. So to win this world, you will have to reach one goal, and at the beginning the goals will be very simple, so like reaching a certain level, reaching a number of duels, or getting to the highest crafting tier. But later we want to switch from player-focused goals to town-focused goals, which allows us to, for example, also have a speed world that requires you to control 75% of all force in the game, or what I like most is the last man standing mode. That means that if you pass out in a duel, you will be out of the game directly and the last survivor wins.
And what do the players get if they win the speed rounds?
We will have custom achievements for that you can see on all worlds profiles, on the player profiles, and you will also get special items and buffs.
But now on to the most important question. When will you begin the Speed World and the Game Master 4?
The Game Master 4 is there already. You will find it on the middle county of the map. And we still need to adjust a few things in the admin tool for that, but it's almost ready. So the first Game Master 4 events will start very soon. And the Speed Worlds require a bit more thinking and technical improvements, but we are aiming to release them in summer. Until then, we have a lot of other cool stuff coming up that you've been waiting for a long time, like the player-to-player trade, blackboard improvements, and of course what is our main focus at the moment are the multiplayer instances. But I cannot show you much of that so far because the dev team has worked on the back end mostly. But as soon as the front end part is finished and we have a first prototype, we'll share it with you, of course.
So thanks a lot for joining me, Jonas. As you guys can see, the West team is working on a lot of things right now to make the game super cool for you, so stay tuned for more to come. As you know, Tribal Wars is our oldest game, but we're constantly making improvements to it. 8.20 is currently out, and product manager Robert wants to tell you a little something about it.
Hi guys, I'm Robert, the product manager of Tribal Wars. We heard you liked the 8.19 update video, so we've put together another one to answer some of the common questions about the 8.20 update. First of all, we had some questions about the progress bars we added to the headquarters. We added the progress bars because we changed the way that temporary improvements to construction speed are handled. Basically, previously a building had a buff to construction speed if it started building during the time that the buff was active. Now, a buff will have a direct effect on what is in progress. If a buff is active, the building will finish sooner. If the buff disappears again, the building will take longer again. We added the progress bars so you always know what's going on with your construction. Next item, scripts. We know that community-provided scripts are a big part of the game for some of you. Unfortunately, it can sometimes happen that old scripts won't work with the new update. This time, the scripts that broke were more important scripts than usual. Scripts for renaming incoming attacks, for example. This has reminded us how important tagging, or renaming incoming attacks, is for you. So we're planning on integrating functionality for that directly into the game. This will make sure that tagging survives updates, make it more widely available in the community, and probably also make it more convenient. We hope to be able to share that feature with you on the beta world soon. As a friendly reminder, the beta worlds will always be running the latest version of the game several days before it's released everywhere else. This can be a great opportunity to adjust any scripts. And the last thing we wanted to talk about was the market price graphs. What we wanted to do with those is make it easier to create successful offers. Something we noticed when testing the premium trading feature, a feature which lets you sell and buy premium from other players for resources, is that there were a lot of different offers on the market, some of which would never be accepted because they were too expensive, and some of them that were selling much too cheaply. The graphs are meant to be a convenient way to see how much you can get for what you want to sell. Thanks for listening, guys. That was all for now. Thank you for your feedback, and we'll see you next time.
That's it for the game news. Now it's time for me to show you around this office. I'll meet you at the InnoGames gym. Welcome now to the InnoGames gym. This is the place where me and my colleagues go to pump some iron before or after work. As you can see here, we have all the necessary equipment needed to stay fit and strong. Next up, I want to show you our new gaming area. Now you'll find me in my favorite place of the new building, the gaming room. Right here I stand in the console area where we can challenge each other to a battle of FIFA or maybe even Mario Kart. If you come with me over here, we have some pinball machines. We also have a ping pong table and a kicker table. Next up, I'll show you some of our really cool new meeting rooms. Meeting rooms are pretty important to us because really we spend a lot of time in them. Here, colleagues from different parts of the company can come together and discuss new game features, solve problems, or just even brainstorm ideas. As you can see, all of our meeting rooms are game themed, and we voted on the games, so we're pretty passionate about it. Next to the meeting rooms, we have our very own barista bar now. This is pretty useful because we can get coffee and snacks without even leaving the building. Also, it's nice to get something from the bar and sit outside in our new sun-soaked terrace. Alright guys, that's it for the April edition of InnoGames TV. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next time.